Hey, what's up, everybody? Fred here with eCom Catalyst, and this is going to be an amazing video. You asked, I asked, and we finally had someone answer. Today, I have with me as a guest on this video an interview with an actual Amazon voice of the Vine reviewer, right? So all of these Amazon Vine videos I've been doing over the last year or so that I've been trying to educate Amazon sellers how to use the Amazon Vine program, but we keep getting all these comments back from Vine reviewers themselves. And so I've been saying on my videos, hey, if you're a Vine reviewer and you're willing to come on the show here and talk about the other side, what it's like being an actual Vine reviewer, reach out. And so we finally had that happen. So I want to welcome my friend John here. He is an actual Vine reviewer. John, welcome to the show. He's joining us now. Jump in there and just give us a quick introduction.
Well, John, I started back in March. They put a little pop-up on my phone, said, "You want to be a Vine reviewer?" I said, yes. And then I forgot about it for a month. Then it reminded me one more time on my phone, that you're active in Vine and gave me the link again. And then I finally looked at it and said, oh, this is real. I can really join this. And so around late March is when I started doing reviews. And it's been interesting since then.
March of this year then, right?
This year, that's correct.
Oh, that is so cool, man. That is so cool. Let's see here. All right, so I got a side by side now. Now, the first thing I want to ask, because everyone asks, how do I become a Vine reviewer? And my understanding is you can't opt in for it. You can't request it. You can't say, I want to be a Vine reviewer. You have to be invited. And so you say you got invited. You just have to randomly see a push notification on your phone. Is that right?
Yeah, and I think I looked back and I had email notifications from 1 or 2 years earlier as well, inviting me, but I just didn't see those, didn't pay attention to those. And then it popped up on my phone in March, and that was kind of strange because I hadn't seen that before.
Right.
Of course, I know what divine reviews are, and then now, how do you become one? Obviously, you can't go and say I want to go become a divine reviewer, but I think you got to do the. There's one thing which there's like rules that I've seen in the system that if you return too many things on your paid account, you probably won't be a Vine reviewer because they don't like returns.
Ah,
And, and if your home delivery has constant theft on it, you probably won't be a Vine reviewer. Based on this is kind of looking at their terms and conditions. Like if you don't have reliability, because you can't deliver Vine to one of those, those drop boxes at different places. It
right,
has to go
right,
straight to your
right.
home
It's not going to
residence.
go to a UPS store or something like
Right.
that. Okay, so that's
And then,
very interesting. So we're kind of deciphering together. We're kind of
right.
putting pieces together that um, obviously you would be a probably a pretty high volume Amazon shopper. I'm guessing. You order a good bit on Amazon, and then you don't return a lot. So that's a big thing right there, right? So that's interesting that they're not looking for people that return a lot. If you had to guess, up and before you got the official invitation, even maybe think back to a year or so ago when you maybe got some
Okay.
emails that you ignored. Um, if you had to guess, give or take 20, 30 orders, I mean, how frequently were you purchasing on Amazon?
I started real aggressively about 2 years ago because I picked up a kind of a hobby that required a lot of things, and I was buying some from China. There's two websites over there, but mostly from Amazon because that you get things in 2 days rather than 2 months. And and I would leave reviews on them because and I think one of the most important things is to leave not slamming reviews. Don't question the person's you know whether they're being honest or not, but say, this doesn't match what the description says and things like that. And I just left
Right.
honest reviews where 80% of them were probably 5 star. But I didn't go like
Okay.
1 star, 2 stars, and I didn't blame the merchant for delivery times because obviously they can't control that most of the time.
Well, you're the kind of Vine reviewer that sellers love, right? Because
Yeah.
that's one of the complaints. I'm a seller. I've got my own brand. So I've used Vine to launch my own products. And then as an agency, we represent dozens and dozens of brands who are launching new products. And we almost
Right.
always use Vine. And one of the complaints, and not just in my own personal experience, but across Reddit and across Facebook groups, the typical Vine reviewer kind of has this reputation of Gosh, I don't typically cuss, but I'm gonna say a hard ass, right? I mean, like,
Right.
like they're afraid that they're gonna because they get the Vine reviews that say, "Perfect, I loved it. It was exactly what I wanted," and then it's a 3-star review or a 4-star, and even a 4-star review is good, but it pulls the overall rating down. So it's good to hear, that you're doing that. You've been giving good reviews. Another question that I had really that I wonder about is when you do reviews as a Vine reviewer, do you do pictures, videos? Are you really thorough in the write up? What's that look like?
Yeah, and mine, and I can probably send you a link to mine. Basically, and I can't share the link obviously because we're trying to not share exactly who I am. But yeah, I think it's like 86% images on there, and they just started putting about 2 months ago. They changed the stats where they now show the percent of images per order, and so about 86, 87% of mine have images, and all of mine the last 2 months have had. Once I saw that they wanted that, and then as far as I try to do, 2 or 3 paragraphs generally. I don't. I started in the very beginning doing like the pros and the cons of it and trying to do details on it, but I realized people really just want to know: is it a good product? Is it
Yeah.
quality? And is it priced right for what it is? And obviously, we're not
Mm,
paying for it, but we know the price of it. And
that's
so,
right.
if it's a $10 pair of wireless earbuds, it has a much lower standard than a $50 pair of wireless earbuds, and you got to control them differently. You got to look at them differently, and that's what I try to do. But I don't, I give some 4 stars and 3 stars, now and then. And 2 stars is very rare. I think I've given one star one time, and it was for good reason. I can't remember what it was. And that's, but I didn't either judge harshly either before Vine. I was always fair. I mean, I was a merchant years ago, back in 2008, 2012. Some kind of political objects that I sold thousands of back then, and so I
Right.
know what it's like to be a merchant, where
Yeah.
bad reviews, people try to pull your reviews down sometimes,
Right.
and I know
Right.
what that's like.
That's so interesting. Well, tell us a little bit about what it's like on our side as a seller. We simply enroll in ASIN, and if we only want to give away 1 or 2 copies or units, it's free. And then I think it's a couple of $100 that we have to pay to give between like 15 and 30 units. I don't have the math. I should have this memorized. I've done multiple videos on it, but it's changed. But I know it's around $200 or so for us to give up to 30 units, um, and make those available. And typically when we do it, we come back after a couple of days. Well, 4 people have claimed it. And then, a week or so
Mhm.
later, 12 people have claimed it. Sometimes those 30 are gone really, really fast if it's a really popular product,
Yeah,
but sometimes it takes a few weeks before we get all 30. And then it says like 30 people have claimed and 2 people have left a review. And then, the reviews trickle in over like 4 to 6 weeks. That's what it's like on
right.
our side. I would love for you to just take a few minutes and tell us about what it looks like from the perspective of a Vine reviewer, where like literally you're in your section, you're in your place, and like, do they tell you what products to review, or do you just get to choose from, like, let's say I put one of my gun bags up on Vine and I want it
Mhm.
reviewed. Do you search by category and anything that's been made available to Vine, any Vine reviewer? I mean, I'm just curious. I would really love to know
Okay.
about how that works.
Right now, I'm silver status. In about 7 days, I qualify for gold status. So right now, I'm limited to 3 products a day. Each product has to be $100 or $99.99 or less. And then in a few days, I'll be able to get 8 products at whatever price they're at. Now, as far as how I search it, there's like 33 to 40,000 products available for us. And most of them are weird things like car parts that you would never need, and they're just listed there continuously. And you kind of have to search for it. And there's a certain time of day, and it varies. They move it around where all of a sudden the new products drop all of a sudden.
Right.
And lately it's been about 8 a.m. Central Time where I'm at. Uh, One time it was like 4 a.m. and I saw it at like 7 or 8 p.m. for a while. They kind of move it around. And I understand it's different in different countries, is what I've seen. But as far as that, all of a sudden the new product's there. And so you go and you can go through the listings. And they are categorized by keywords. So you have an electronics section, and it has like a lot of subsections in it. You can also search by keywords. And if you're looking for something particular, and in the beginning, that's what I used to do because I wanted certain things related to my hobby, but pretty much I've got most of those that I can. But you can search it out. And a couple of suggestions I would throw in here. Like I know a lot of people, they want to get their stuff tested and make sure it's a testable quantity. Like I've seen things where like one ceiling tile or one floor tile or something like that. Where why in the world would especially for the people that can only get three things that day, they're not going to pick that one floor tile in case something good pops up. So it has to be like a usable quantity for somebody to pick it. If they don't pick a usable quantity, then it's worthless to us.
Right.
If
And
that makes sense.
okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And are you being compensated by Amazon financially for leaving the reviews, or is it just the value of the product? Which, from what I understand, and we'll get into this, I learned from all the Vine reviewers because we're all like, it's free, it's free, it's free. And the Vine reviewers like, no, I get a 10.99 for the value of the product. So that's a couple of
Yeah.
questions that I've always wondered, like, A, as a Vine reviewer, do you get any kind of financial compensation if you're allowed to answer that? And B, let's talk about the tax consequence because that was
Okay.
totally new to me. I didn't know about
Well,
that at all.
my wife is a CPA, so she investigated this when we started this. What I really looked at, first thing I saw was tax consequences, and of course, as far as her opinion of it is, yes, it's taxable. We do get a 1099 that's coming from Amazon, and I know there's a lot of Amazon reviewers out there who put YouTube videos out there saying that they don't have to pay taxes on them, that you called the IRS and all this, but uh, she doesn't agree with that, and it looks like so we're thinking of everything costing us 25%. So that's why anything we get, there is a cost to it. It's gonna, we're comfortable with that, and not everything's worth even 1%. Sometimes you do get a lot
Right.
of stuff that's inferior quality. So
Yeah.
we're probably we're not in it for the money. We're not selling anything, giving away anything, or anything like that. So it's what we can use, and we're trying to get things that we would otherwise buy.
Right. That is fascinating. I'm hoping and praying that our audio is good for this. We're recording it. I'm hearing a lot of garbly and like distortion and breaking up here and there on your audio when you talk back. I hope it may be in the final. It's good enough where we can hear you, but I told,
I have
what's that?
Bluetooth on, so I have Bluetooth on, so I hope that's working because I
Yeah,
didn't have the
I
right
do.
mic on.
Well, I have this microphone, but either way, I told John when we started this, I'm recording it. I'm not planning on sending it to editors or anything like that. I've been able to understand what you're saying. So if once I
Okay.
hit end and this is finished and I listen back to it and the audio's kind of jumbled up a little bit, we apologize. Don't know really sure. It sounded fine before we
I have a
started.
wired microphone I can use, and I can bring it in from the other room if you want.
I think in the time that it would take to do that, I think we're fine. I can understand what you're saying. If it gets worse,
Yeah.
maybe we'll try that. And it may be
Okay.
fine. The actual what we're recording may be fine. So just technical stuff that we're doing here on this part.
Right.
Anyway, so that's really, really just fascinating. I'm trying to think, as we kind of wrap up. So we've talked about the tax consequences. We've talked about how you were invited and some of the things that you think probably help pre-qualify someone to be invited to Vine. And then you talked about the portal. Oh, one interesting thing that you mentioned was the levels. Like you said, I believe you're silver level and you may be gold level
Right.
soon. What is that about?
Well, okay, silver level, and it's pretty much out there on the internet. Silver level can get three products a day maximum,
Okay.
and they can get also products valued up to $99 each, $99.99. Uh, when you get to gold level, there's no limit on the price, although I don't know how much is available at that point. You can get up to eight products a day, but that's so many products. I mean, I would not even imagine. I mean, I got a lot of, at first, as you know by the numbers I've done, uh, in this 5 months, well over, I'm in the triple digits in products, I
Wow.
think I sent you a screenshot on, and in reviews. So
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 what
I
do you
really
do with
doing
all
that.
these
I make
products?
myself valuable to Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. What do you do with all these products? Is your garage just full of random stuff, or is it you're only really getting stuff that you can utilize and you want to use? Or I did read somewhere that you're not really allowed to just get it for free. I know you pay tax on the value if you
Yeah.
follow the letter of the law,
Mhm.
but you receive the product, you write the review. Technically, I don't think you're supposed to put it on eBay or resell it right away and get money for it. I read that somewhere. If that happens, doesn't matter to me, at the end of the day. But
Yeah.
what? So you have hundreds of products now that you've ordered and received and left reviews on. What does that look like? You have to start add on a little bonus
Well,
room to the garage.
honestly, about, and I hate to say it, about 25, 30% of them are things that are subpar, especially at the beginning. And I just realized I would just never really use it. Now, I've got these in boxes. We're required to keep everything physically for 6 months, for 6 total months. And at that point, we can dispose of them as we wish. A lot of these things I got are radio related, which is a hobby I'm in. And I tend to like donate them to these amateur radio clubs across the
Ah,
country,
nice.
some of
Okay.
these radios, because they encourage young people to join the hobby. And so that's one of the areas where about probably 20% of the products I got of that. And other than that, I mean, my wife and I got married 23 years ago. So we replaced things, some of the things we want to have in the kitchen, a lot of the things. And I have two sons, that are, one's almost 20 and one is 21. So at some point, we want them to have things to take off to their houses. They're both living in the household at the moment, going to college and such. So, a lot of it we're going to keep for them on that, but we're not selling it. We never listed anything on eBay. We never listed anything. I mean, I technically am an Amazon seller from 2012, the last time I ever listed anything. But but I'm never going to list anything. I think I see those used products or things that have obviously had these kind of reviews in the past. Somebody's reselling
Right.
it. I think that's kind of tacky, and we don't have the need for
Yeah,
the money
yeah, I
like that.
appreciate that. Yeah. Oh man, well this has been fascinating. I really appreciate you coming on and dedicating your time, just doing this out of your own free will. It's going to be great. I think just not only just sellers, but just people that are interested in the program. This is going to be very educational for them. So as we kind of wrap it up, John, um, just kind of give us real quick. Now talk to the sellers, talk to the brand owners, talk to the
Okay.
manufacturers and the sellers who are putting their product on Vine. Um, Tell us what you expect. Oh, one thing. I forgot. I want to mention this. Here's a strategy that I have, and I want to know if you think this is a good strategy as a Vine
Okay.
reviewer. It's a bit of a trick, right? Because you mentioned
Uh-huh.
price and value. Um, I've seen a lot of Vine reviews that were 3 star or 4 star that specifically spoke to the cost of the product. So it might say, man, I really, really loved this fishing pole. It was, I loved it. I loved everything about it, but I don't think it's really worth $90, right? Like, I mean,
Right.
it was really kind of expensive. So I've told our clients, I was like, look, the last thing we want to do is feel like the Vine reviewer has to speak to maybe the items a bit overpriced. So our strategy when we launch has been when we make it available to Vine, we have it on like a sale price, a lower price. So like if our intention is to really sell that every day once we're launched and live on Amazon, our intention is to sell it for $60. Maybe
Yeah.
during that early launch, until all 30 of the Vine people have claimed, the product, we might have it at $25. So as the Vine reviewer yourself, do you think that's a good strategy? And if so, when you claim that, are you seeing the $25 price that we have? Because we haven't made it $50 yet. So in my mind, I'm like, I want the
Okay.
Vine reviewer to go, technically I didn't pay for it, but man, this is
And
a
they
real bargain for $25.
and they call it taxable values, what they call it. And what we see now, I've seen things where like they'll have 50% off coupons. They're charging 30 for it, 50% off coupons, but we're still taxed at 30. So if you use coupons, that makes it less something we want to do because the
Yeah.
coupon is not applied to our value. And now my
Ah.
wife and I are taking note of these things during the time we purchased it because she's a CPA and we're going to try to we challenge some of the prices. And some of the
Yes.
products are worthless, but that's going to be like immense paperwork. She probably won't do it. It probably won't be worth the money to do that. But as far as that,
Right.
coupons don't work in that situation.
Coupons don't make it less valuable to you when you get it. How about a sale
Right.
price, like a strike through price?
I
I'm
believe the
assuming that's
strike
the
through price
same.
works.
Okay.
I assume the strike through price works. I mean, and I see like if it says was 30 is now 20, and it'll show us $20 taxable value. Generally, is what I see.
Okay. So that's kind of what we do. We set our list price like $60 and
Right.
then we put it on sale for $30 and we make it
Right.
available to the Vine reviewers. And once all of the 30 Vine reviewers have claimed
Mhm.
it, then we'll take it off sale. Or we'll creep the sale price up to 35 and up, because if you just abruptly raise the price back up to 60, a
Yeah.
lot of times Amazon sees that as a huge price manipulation and they'll suppress the buy box where it's not visible anymore. But okay, cool. I'm glad I didn't forget to ask that because that was one of the questions I wanted to ask. Huge gold nuggets here. That's why you subscribe to the eCom Catalyst channel, right? Because I mean, where else are you going to have this kind of gold nuggets actually talking to a real Vine reviewer? Only here on the eCom Catalyst channel. Subscribe, hit the like button, share this with all your friends. All right, so John, I'm going to turn it over to you. Speak to that seller, tell the brand owner, tell me, the agency owner who's trying to optimize and help people scale and grow. Speak to those people and tell them, hey, I'm a Vine reviewer and here's what I expect from your product. And here's what I'm looking for when I review it. Let's hear that out to close this out.
Well, I think the images need to be realistic. Like a 2 foot by 3 foot carpet should not be, like a rug should not be shown filling a living room in an image. And I know they do a lot of virtual images to create things like that. And I've seen things like that on there, and things that are not proportional to what you actually get. I mean, I ordered something recently. It was like bread pans. It looked like a nice. They had a loaf of bread sitting next to it, sliced bread, and then they showed this. The thing was actually about that big. And it was just like, okay, that's and again, I didn't look at the inches. I should look at the inches. I know better now, but make those images realistic to what they are, and then and I know that you're uh, sometimes, like, especially these new ones that they're doing, where they're going to be coming out with products in the future. Sometimes people only have one image on there, and give us a couple of different images, probably even on those products that are not coming out for a month or two. That way, because we can't quite see them sometimes. Sometimes those images don't appear to be like the professional images they're going to later use in the listing. I hope that
Right.
helps.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I see that, as I see that all the time. And I'm like,
Yeah,
sometimes if we get a negative Vine review, that's a blessing, right? Because it says,
yeah,
hey, this image is misleading. And if the Vine reviewer said, man, I thought it was way bigger than what it looks in this picture when I got it, it's not bigger than my doormat yet. This picture makes it look
yeah,
like it fills an entire room. Well, if you're smart and you hate to get that bad review, but it gives you a heads up that, hey, I
right,
don't want to misrepresent my product. And that's why this new feature about how we're able to provide the product to Vine reviewers early
yeah.
before we launch is like epic, because we're able to get that. Is it possible? Here's a question. I never thought of this until now. And I'm guessing the answer is no, because there's no way for a seller to interact with a Vine review. I was going to ask if it's possible for you to edit a review after the fact. Like if somehow the seller had a way to message the Vine reviewer and say, hey, I noticed you gave us 3 stars and you said that it wasn't the right size, but please see here, clearly dimensions were spelled out in the title and in the bullet
Right.
points. And you go, oh yeah, actually, that's my bad. I didn't notice they had the dimensions
Yeah.
clearly written out there.
You
And you
know,
could, but there's no way for us to communicate with you in that
and I've
capacity.
seen Vine reviewers who say they contacted the seller before, and the
Ah,
seller replaced the product. We're not actually supposed to reach out to the merchants. From my understanding of terms and conditions, we're not supposed to reach out to the merchants. We're
that
not
makes
supposed
sense.
to, and we're not supposed to like ask for a replacement product from them. I mean, if something's bad and we receive it bad, it's just tough. It's just we can
Right.
actually, if like I've got defective products before, I can actually write into Vine and there's a support address and say this came in damaged. Can you please delete it from my account? And then they'll reply back, please destroy it and throw it away. Do not keep that product. And so
Right.
uh, and I've only had to do that maybe twice, I think. But ultimately, there's no communication that we're allowed to do. And I can totally understand how, I've seen bad reviews because you mind, I know a lot about the technical thing I'm in. I see people that don't understand the electronic equipment that they're reviewing, like they got something for the wrong purpose, or they got something like I have a Starlink Mini, but yet they're using Starlink Mini box for something else, and they're saying it doesn't quite fit right. It's like, well, why would you review that at
Right.
all?
Right.
If you
Right.
don't have the product and things like that, and there's no way to contact that I know of. I mean, nobody and I don't even have any contact with Vine. I mean, I've never had a discussion. They'll answer quick questions about product issues
Right.
but that's about it. They don't ever
That's
contact
interesting.
us. There's no forum that we go to talk to each other. I did join a Facebook group for a while, but then all of a sudden I had merchants trying to contact, and so I dropped
Ah,
that because
yeah.
I didn't
Right.
want to
Right.
bother.
I think one of the only instances where we avoid Vine, and there's so many Vine reviewers, maybe I shouldn't avoid it, but a lot of times we've avoided Vine on product launches that I feel like the product is very niche or very technical. Like we have a client, it's in marine electronics, and
Yeah,
it's like a wiring harness that connects batteries, a quick connect to batteries and trolling motors, and it's a bit technical, and it's
and I'm licensed to
my
do those kind of marine electronics, and I'm licensed to do
yeah.
that. It is a very, very. There's probably 2,000 people in the country that are licensed for that right now. That can
Okay.
go into a boat and wire up a radio, and because you're just not allowed to
Yeah.
normally. And so those wiring harnesses are totally different than anything else in electronics. So I can see, yeah, the average volume viewer wouldn't know what to do with that cable when they got it.
Right, and so that makes me afraid of what that review would
Yeah,
be. We have a client for example, that does like very vehicle specific car accessories, and
yeah,
you put it on Vine, but it's like you don't really have a way to say. I mean, the listing should say so. The listing should say this accessory only works with a 2004 Acura, right? But you
right.
put it on Vine and you wonder, like, are a bunch of people going to claim this cool accessory
Well,
and it not fit their car, and then you have to deal. So I try to stay away from things that are very specific and technical, and try to limit Vine to stuff that pretty
yeah.
much any reasonable person could review. But all
And
right,
there's
so I
thousands
keep
of car parts
interrupting and
on there,
coming
by
up
the
with
way.
what's
Yeah,
that?
there's thousands of car parts we can choose from. And you notice when you search for a car part, normally on Amazon, it says you own this car and that is not
Right.
compatible with your car. It does not give you that warning on Vine.
Okay. Yeah,
And
that's
at
very
least now they,
important.
they did change the checkout system, and I haven't bought anything. I say bought. I haven't selected anything. I try not to use the word bought because it's really not bought. Automotive related lately. So the new checkout system is more like like the standard checkout system. So they may actually have those warnings on there now, and I will test that later to see
That's so
whether it
cool.
has the warning.
Very cool. Well, what a fantastic thing. What a great interview. I keep interrupting with new questions, but I've tried this once or twice and I keep interrupting myself. I want to turn it over to you and let you just speak directly to the brand owner, to the manufacturer, to the private label creator, the seller, and let them know kind of what it is that you want, that you're looking for. You answered that one. You said specifically, hey, give me good main images. Give me images that don't misrepresent the product. Is there anything else that you'd like to really just speak to the seller?
Have paperwork of some kind with the product because like I got some great light bulbs, outdoor halogen light bulbs the other day. It did not have a single paper; just had a box that made in China. It had styrofoam with wrapping around it. It's like it's like you want to feel like there's somebody behind it. In some brands, they'll have a picture of a couple that runs the brand, and they'll have their email address on there, and I'm never going to contact them. But you feel like okay, that's a real person. That's not just
Right.
some vague listing. And I think have information about the product on there, instructions. A lot of times I have to go to Amazon to get the instructions on something that's simple, and when there's like little details, And
Yeah.
but overall, I think really just put more information in the box, because I think a lot of times, and that's as a regular buyer, I used to run into that where there's nothing with it, nothing there to tell you what to do.
Right, right. That makes so that's like common sense, but to
Yeah.
hear it from you just elevates it to
And
where
if I
every
see a picture of
seller
a
like,
couple on there, I'm going to be much more likely to think this is, I need to give them at least 5 stars, because they, and of course, it's a maximum, because they're working hard, they're trying to make a business, and it makes you feel more empathetic towards them. So the picture of a couple, which I see on several of them in the last
uh,
bunch of them, I thought that was interesting.
like about our business, about our family. You know,
Right.
that's big too, especially in an international marketplace now. We have tariffs, we have all this stuff going on, but there's still a lot of people that kind of like the fact that they're buying from a United States-based small business, right?
Yeah.
And there's a different vibe when you order a dog collar and there's an about us pamphlet in the box that has, you know, 7 or 8 ladies in a factory in North Carolina with, standing in front
Yeah.
of their building saying, "Hey, thanks for you're helping us." I can see how that really gives empathy and
Yeah.
value to a Vine
And even
reviewer.
out of the country, like, there was a great, in like, we have some sheets that are made of bamboo fabric, and this company had, and it's a foreign company, I think it's like the Philippines or somewhere. They showed the process, they showed the people, and it had like a little pamphlet in it. It was like, wow, that is incredible. And we bought additional
Yeah.
sheets after. And then
How
I had a
about
cutting
that?
board the other day, a cutting board also made at a foreign location, and they had, they had a website for it, and they had, papers on it, those kind of things. Even if, because I know a lot of product, not everybody's manufacturing products, but they're obtaining them, that kind of thing, to let you know who's making it, that kind of thing is very useful, and it makes you feel more empathetic, and you're going to give it 5 stars, if you can see that they're trying and the product's decent quality.
Yeah. Man, this was gold. John, thank you so much. I mean, it just
Glad to
means
help.
the world to me. It means the world to our followers and our subscribers here on the channel. That you'd come and give your time. This has been so educational and fun for me. Hope it was fun for you. And I'll have this
Same thing.
uploaded very soon.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And man, that's it, folks. I mean, that's gold. That's amazing information. I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. Thumbs up this video, subscribe to eCom Catalyst. Now, if you're a seller or you want to find out more about Amazon Vine, I've got 2 videos, one from a year ago, one from just a few weeks ago, about the Amazon Vine program, some of their most recent updates and changes to the program, and some of these topics that we've just discussed. So thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Can't wait to see your comments on this video. Share this with your friends.